just moving along the application deadline, there's going to be two different ways that you can do it. You can mail it in to our office, and the address is down here. If you're going to mail it in, please make sure that you get it postmarked, and we know what time it comes in. We don't want you to be disqualified. It means that if you're going to be mailing stuff in, we are anticipating that we're going to receive grants kind of after the deadline, but we're going to use that postmark as the tell to let us know whether or not you actually submitted your grant before the application deadline. So the deadline is July 1st, 2020 at midnight if you're going to mail it, or if you're going to actually drop it off in person here in Raleigh, it's going to be at 5 p.m. There's no difference in how the grants are going to be scored if you choose to drop it off in person versus hand. So one thing that is a little bit different with PARTF, there's not actually a funding body. We actually use the state's open project selection process, which the DPR staff use to evaluate that, and then we recommend the grants to the National Park Service. The vast majority of the time, the National Park Service goes along with our recommendations, but they do have the opportunity to flag issues or declare a grant not considered for funding. A lot of the effort that staff has taken so far and put into the application is to try and head these off so that we don't receive a grant and submit it on and it be rejected by the National Park Service. But that is just a disclaimer that even if our staff review it and put you forward as recommended for funding, that's not the final step. With PARTF, you get funded by the authority, you're funded. With us, with Lwcf, we put a recommendation forward. This is a disclaimer. In the past, you've been able to turn in a PARTF application to your local government, to your RRS consultant. Do not do that. That is not an approved way for you to submit your grant application. Please don't ask. If you need something simpler, we ask that you put it in the mail and send it to us. And there's reasoning behind that. The applications are going to be scored by the Division of State Park staff. They're not going to be scored by your consultant. The consultants are familiar with the scoring system and can advise you how to help put your application together, but the actual scoring is going to fall on us. The key factors to the Lwcf cycle that we're opening for locals right now is that it is to acquire land, and any land that you acquire, it's going to go into 6F restrictive covenant, which we'll talk about later, or it's to renovate or replace existing elements at an Lwcf site. We'll go into this in more depth, but basically it is not for new development. And there is a definition on what the difference between replacing an existing outdated element is, but we do not expect, and we would reject it if you just flatly submit brand new development, even if it is at an Lwcf site. We'll go into replacement and renovation later. So no additional facilities will be accepted. Application assistance, somewhat similar to PARTF. We do ask that you get the RRS consultants. That we have a July 1st deadline for the Lwcf application. At the very least, try and get your application to the consultants a month in advance. They have been through this. They can help you. I don't want you to think in the very least that RRS is not able to help you better understand Lwcf. They are. But because this is a new application that has not been worked with, I would err on the side of getting it to them as soon as possible. Don't wait until June. If you get them information at June 1st and you're competing with 20 other applicants that have gotten their information of their consultant at June 1st, you're going to be fighting for their time. You can get them pieces of your application to look at. You don't have to put it all together all at one time. And sometimes this helps kind of you progress through more quickly.